की जय। सर्वं योगी रामसूरत्कुमारार्पणमस्तु।
It's with deep gratitude that we submit our Nama Pushpas at His holy feet. But for His grace, it would not have been possible. We would have found 100 excuses for not being able to be here. We would be otherwise very busily engaged in this and that. 100 things would seem so important to us than chanting the name. The mind is such a trickster. It could show the Maya as a reality, and the reality is Maya. As he said this morning, when a disciple came and asked his guru, Swami, if I chant the name, would I earn some punya? And the guru, pat came the reply from the guru, my dear boy, it's because you have done punya that you got the name now. And somebody in Sanadi Street House came and asked Bhagwan in all seriousness, Sir, you advocate this Nama chanting? Okay, I will do that. But then what else I have to do? Please tell me what else I have to do. Swami laughed and said, my friend, if you could do only that, what more is there to do? You do this Nama chanting, that will do. So you see, again and again, Bhagwan was championing the cause of Nama chanting, because the Nama is nothing but Nami's presence. So when we chant the name, we should try to feel the presence of Bhagwan. Now let's remember again what Bhagwan said. A word and its meaning are inseparable. The word Rama means Rama's presence. The word Shiva means Shiva's presence. When you call out Rama, Rama is instantly present. When you call out to Shiva, Shiva is instantly present. Do not doubt it. And when you call out Yogi Ramsuratkumar, my father is present, instantly present. So it's Swami's promise. It is not only his statement of truth, For those who do not believe it, you could take it as his promise that when you chant his name, when you call out his name, he would be instantly present. Then why do we not know it? It's because the mind is already filled with this and that of the world. There is so much desire, there is so much awareness of the world and its temptations. But we can be sure that the presence is aware of our feelings, thoughts and prayers, and that's all that we need. Remember, in Ramayana, with the chanting of Ramna, the heavy stones floated in water and Setu Bandhan was possible. They built a bridge across the ocean with Ramna. The stones floated. When Draupadi shouted, Govinda, Govinda, everybody knows what happened, how the saris continued. So Bhagavan gave these examples to the visiting devotee and said, chant the name. Chanting the name is prayer. You don't even have to pray separately. Because Nama is Nami's presence and Nami knows what is on your mind, what your prayer is. Nama will do the rest. You don't have to pray separately. And Nama chanting is surrender. As you keep on chanting the name, as you begin to feel the presence of God, then you would soon know that everything happens only by His grace. Everything happens only by His will. And whatever happens is grace. Coming from God, it can be nothing else but a definite blessing. However negative it looks while it's happening, it is still a blessing because it's meant for your spiritual growth. So, all that we have to do, and sometimes Bhagavan would warn people. He would say, whenever you forget God or His name, even a small gap, your fate would enter. The fate would begin to play. The fate keeps away when you chant the name, when you remember God. You leave a small gap, the fate is only too ready to enter. And he used to quote the scene of Kaikeyi, how she forgot Rama and listened to the advice, the ill advice of Manthara and what followed. So we have to beware lest the fate is given a place. Now today we shall see how chanting the name, how the invocation of grace helped some people in different circumstances. Srimati Kamalam, she was working in Sharada College, the English department, as professor. She is now 74 years old. Last year, she found out that she had developed cancer in her breast. especially on the right side, it had crossed the third stage. So the doctor advised immediate surgery. For the past 30 years or more, she has been suffering from diabetes and high BP. Diabetes, she had to inject insulin every day. Such was her condition, but the doctor advised immediate surgery. But then she knew that Bhagwan's Nama is ever with her, and she began to chant vigorously, praying all the time. Bhagwan to be with her, and she was able to develop some peace. So she remained undisturbed, submitted herself to the doctor. She got admitted in the hospital. Even the day she had to go to the operation theatre, there was no tension in her, no depression, no fear, no disturbance. This is what she says. So much so that people began to wonder. They were asking, how could you be like this? Soon you will be in the theatre and they're going to remove those organs. Are you not afraid? She simply smiled and kept her peace, would not allow herself to be disturbed, because she knew she had the Nama to rely upon. She says, after the operation was over, the post-operative night passed away peacefully for her. No disturbance, no complications. And the next day she was so normal, the doctor was surprised and said, we could shift you tomorrow to the other. She was no more in ICU. She was shifted to a private room. And then within 2 days, she was discharged. She says she owed it to Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama. And then soon after that, after 3 weeks, she had to undergo chemotherapy for 8 weeks, once every week. And she knew people who had suffered so much because of this chemo, how they used to vomit, and what kind of reactions there would be. Yet, the Nama was ever with her. She resorted to incessant Nama Chanting. In fact, she would get admitted the previous day in the hospital. She would take with her a Nama notebook and some books to read. As the therapy was going on, she would be either reading a book on Bhagwan, or chanting his name, or writing his name. All the 8 weeks passed peacefully, undisturbed, and she filled up more notebooks with Nama. And then followed 25 days of radiation. Again, she knew how people had suffered, people she knew. She said she could go through the whole lot peacefully. And soon after, on the 25th day, there was only tiredness that she felt, and she reported it to the doctor, and the doctor said, it's very natural, you just have to eat and make up for the loss of energy. You seem to be very normal, so from now on you can lead a normal life. Don't stay in a room, go out a lot. Be normal. Everything will be all right. No complications with you. And he was attracted to the books that she carried with her, Sharanagatam. And he saw the photograph of Bhagwan. He became interested in that. He understood it was Bhagwan who was responsible for her quick recovery and her undisturbed state of mind all through that. So he took some of the books with him. The chief he came back and said that he was very absorbed in reading it, and then he would get to know more and more. So you see, we all have to go through something or the other, some suffering or the other. Life brings us joys and sorrows. It all depends upon how we face these challenges. And without the invocation of grace, it's not possible. Like Bhagwan had warned us, even if there is a small gap in remembering God, fate would enter. The negative forces are waiting around. Don't give a chance to them. Don't keep your mind. He even said to one of the devotees, keeping a silent mind is possible for Raman Maharishi, Jai Krishnamurti, Paramacharya. It's not possible for ordinary people like you and me. He referred to himself. He said the thoughts would keep coming. Thoughts would race through the mind. So we have to keep the mind engaged in good thoughts. Replace them by Nama. Replace them by the Upadesas of the Guru. Don't try to be silent, because the minute you leave a gap, thoughts would rush into you. They are merely suppressed. Instead, fill the mind with good thoughts. Thoughts of God, thoughts of great people. Now Kamalam goes on to say that her nephew, Marudachalam, 67 years now, he had diabetes, and then he had corona. Like many people who have had, he also had corona. And because of his diabetes, it became worse. At one point, he had to be rushed to the intensive care unit, and oxygen had to be given to him. The doctor said, "You have come too late. Why wouldn't you come earlier than this?" We shall try our best. And when people asked him how he was, he would say, no, he's in a critical condition. We can tell you people only after 2 days of observation. Such was the condition when they informed the ashram. Kamalam herself informed, and his wife, Marudachalam's wife, also kept sending messages to the ashram. And then they were advised to write the Nama, chant the name, and pray and pray. And of course we were also praying here for Marudachalam. And soon there were symptoms of recovery, and the doctors felt the relief, and slowly he improved. He was brought out to a normal ward, and finally he was discharged. At the age of 67, in such a serious condition, he picked up, and his people, their faith was strengthened. And they say, but for the grace of the Nama, but for the glory of the name, he could not have picked up at all. Anything could have happened to him. Such was his critical condition. And Kamalam mentions another event. Their son Prabhu, 30 years, they've been looking for a bride for quite some time, but every time it failed. It would come very near and then fail unexpectedly. This happened several times. They were very disturbed. And finally here, when I was talking about one of the devotees' experiences, how a lady, a beggar woman, came to Bhagwan and appealed to him for grace. She had 6 sons. 5 sons were already married. The 6th son was still unmarried. Mother wanted so much that this son be married also. And it wasn't happening. He was already 36 years old. Then Bhagwan asked her, Mother, where are you living? How do you live? The mother said, are you living? Bhagwan asked her if she lived with any of her sons. Bhagwan knew. She said, no, Swami, I'm a beggar woman. The 5 sons, their wives would not adjust with me. They hated me. So they drove me out. Then Bhagwan said, why, Amma, your 6th son is not married. You could live with him. Why should he be in the streets? She said, no, Swami, he also doesn't like me much. It's okay, Swami. Let him be happy. Why should I be a burden to anybody, Swami? Begging is easy. Something or the other I get and my day passes easily. That doesn't matter, Swami. I want my son to be married happily. Please bless him, Swami. Bhagwan, it brought tears to Bhagwan's eyes. Shri Ganeshan of Ramanashram was there at the time with Bhagwan. And Bhagwan said, Ganesha, see, this is the love of mother. This is the love of a mother. They have put her on the road and still she cares only for their happiness. And then Bhagwan asked her, how old was her son? And she said, 36 years. Then Bhagwan said, you have to light a lamp for 36 days before some deity. And he asked her where she was staying. She said it was an abandoned mandap where she was taking refuge in the nights. Then Bhagwan said, there may be some deity in one of the pillars there. She recalled and said, yes, Swami, there's one Hanuman. Then Bhagwan said, okay, you light the lamp before him for 36 days. But Amma, you are a beggar woman, like this beggar. Where would you go for money? She said, oh, Swami, that's not very difficult. I can beg a little more and buy some oil. I can manage. And then she left happily because she knew Bhagwan was going to help her. And true to that, after 36 days of lighting the lamp, her son got married. Marriage was fixed. She came and reported happily to Bhagwan after that. So when I was saying this, they picked up this. And they started to do that. Kamalam advised her nephew to light a lamp. He was only 30 years, so for 30 days, light a lamp before Bhagwan's picture. Sit and chant the name. After 70 days of lighting the lamp in front of Bhagwan, chanting the name, the marriage was fixed. is going to get married on the 25th of this month. So they were very, very happy, one after the other. All good things were happening by merely chanting the name of Bhagwan. And the last, there is another interesting episode. Kamalam's daughter, Dr. Anbu Geetha, was attending a course. It's on the national level, all India level. She had to write an examination. After studying for the examination, she was leaving for the examination hall when Kamalam asked her, "How have you prepared?" She said, "It's okay, Ma, somewhat." And then she did not give any positive answer. She left. Then Kamalam sat before Bhagwan's photo and started writing the name, chanting and writing and chanting and writing, until the examination was over and her daughter returned home. And now Kamalam asked her how she had written the examination. She said, "Not very well, but it's okay." And then when the results came, her professor rang up and congratulated her, saying, "Do you know you are the topper in the examination?" She was stunned. Anbu Geetha knew that she had not done that well, and she never expected getting the first rank, but here was the result. And then she knew it was because of her mother who sat before Bhagwan's photograph. It was because of her incessant, ceaseless chanting while she was writing the exam. So you see, these episodes show us the way out of our difficulties. You don't have to go from temple to temple. You don't have to gather expensive things to do homa. A very simple, wherever you are, sit comfortably and call out the name, chant the name, and pray. And your prayer will be granted, no matter what your fate is. The invocation of grace by Nama Chanting is unfailing. So this is what we learn. They may all sound very worldly, but remember, behind these miracles, there is strengthening of faith, strengthening of sadhana, and a certain surrender, which would pave way further to the attainment of the divine. It paves way for transformation, for inner transformation as well. As you keep on chanting, 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 it becomes a habit. The Nama catches you. And it causes inner transformation as well. We become more and more sattvic. So all these are because of the glory of the name. And the name is not an inert name like yours and mine. It is a vibrant, living presence of the divine. It's a conscious entity. So Nama can run your life. It would keep your fate away. It can keep the Maya away. Now this Bhagwan, whose Nama comes to our rescue whenever we suffer, whenever we call out. Now He's here right in front of us all the time, sitting, not even all the time standing, not even sitting, with his hand raised in benediction. We know the tension and depression everywhere, the panic, fear, sorrow, violence, so much prevalent everywhere. The only relaxation is remembrance of God. So why don't we resort to it? We need grace for that. So let's pray to Bhagwan. Bhagwan, we seek your immediate divine intervention to free the entire world from the grip of this virus and bring back normalcy in every aspect of life in the entire world. Bhagwan, kindly remove the panic from the hearts of people and arrest the spread of the disease. Only if you enter the vaccine, it would be made potent and it could kill the virus and its variants without any side effects. And we pray to you that the medicine reaches the right people, people who really need it. And again, all those sevaks, those great people who are doing the penance of fighting the disease at the very risk of their life, please give them protection and all-round wellness. And we seek special grace for a boost to the falling economy. Above all, every day, we have been hearing the stories of your glory, the stories of Nama's glory, for incessant remembrance of God, for constant remembrance of God, for constant remembrance of your name. We need a special grace from you. Bhagwan, we beg you again and again to bless us with constant remembrance of your name and the attitude of being an instrument in your hands. And we seek your blessings for being a fine instrument in your hands. Let us be grateful to Bhagwan for all his grace. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.